highlighting the topics that affect agriculture nationwide. It's the AgNet Weekly with Sabrina Halverson, brought to you by AgNet Media. And now, here's this week's featured conversation.
The proposed Northern California anti-agriculture measure could have an effect nationwide. The measure in Sonoma County would eliminate animal agriculture there. This week, we're joined by Executive Director of the Sonoma County Farm Bureau, Dayna Ghirardelli, to tell us more about the push to drive out animal agriculture. I'm Sabrina Halverson, and this is AgNet Weekly. So, Dayna, there has been some effort by animal rights groups in Sonoma County to, do away with some of our family farms. Can you tell me a little bit about what they're pushing?
Sure. So what they're pushing right now is a citizen petition that they've circulated and got certified to be put on the ballot in November, which seeks to eliminate concentrated animal feeding operations. And in doing so, they are saying that they are ending factory farms, put quotes around that term, and they are equating the US EPA's definition of a concentrated animal feeding operation with factory farms. So the farms that they are considering or that they feel fall in this category are family farms.
Just, that term, factory farms, it's become such a buzzword for some of these organizations. What does, again, using the air quotes here, but the concentrated feeding, whatever that wordage was, yes, what does that actually mean? If I were to drive by one of these locations, what would I actually see there?
You wouldn't think twice. You wouldn't. I mean, I say that, but yet it's all in the eye of the beholder, right? I mean, these farms we have here, majority of them are, like, if we talk about the dairies, they are organic. So they utilize pasture as a main part of their management and how they produce their product. For the poultry operations, they exceed the Prop 2 and Prop 12, I should say most recently Prop 12 regulations. All of the farms are third-party certified or verified for some type of animal welfare program. So you, having been in a bit of agriculture, would probably not look at any of these farms and think that they would fall into the category.
And you mentioned before that these are family farms, right? These are not big corporately owned, or if it is, it's a family corporation, which I think a lot of people don't understand either. But again, they are family farms.
Right. Majority are family farms. There may be one group or farms that might fall under a corporate structure, but for the most part, they are locally owned or locally operated, I should say, much like the family farms. But absolutely, our food shed here in Sonoma County is very much family farms.
I don't know if you know the answer to this, and if you don't, that's perfectly okay. But the group that started this, are they from Sonoma County, or are they part of a larger group that's not? But there are groups that are go around to counties and look for things that they can, force change in. Is it something like that, or was it a local group that actually had been there for a while, for a few years and had legitimate issues?
No, funny you bring that up. It is the first. So the core group that this is coming from is called Direct Action Everywhere. They have been in our county since 2017 to a certain degree. I'm just going to say tormenting our local poultry industry. We've had a lot of their people who have come in for protests, who have trespassed onto farms, they're constantly flying drones over farms here, creating a narrative that works for them to try and push their ideals. And this group comes out of Berkeley, California, which is in the Bay Area, but not in Sonoma County or, technically near Sonoma County. So to your point, yes, these are people coming in from out of the area. And they've chosen, I believe, Sonoma County because we are a proficient and sustainable food production county, and it's close to Berkeley. And they've had their points of contention with our local farming industry. And I think this is just another way for them to try and attack the good that we do, in that they just simply don't agree with it.
One thing that I hear frequently when I talk with leaders and experts in other parts of the nation, because I do report around the nation, I'm a Californian, but my reports go around the nation. And they always say, once it happens in California, we really pay attention because we know it's going to happen here. And one thing that I've heard is that groups like this will kind of practice in California counties like Sonoma to see which of their tactics work and how they can get things pushed through legislation. And then they will take it elsewhere across the nation. So this is something that I know that agricultural industry people around the nation are actually are paying attention to in Sonoma County. As you have been dealing with this, like you said, for a number of years, and just in your role in agriculture, what would you say to people who are watching it from your position, other agriculture industry folks who are watching this from other parts of the nation and seeing what's going on in Sonoma? What would you tell them?
Well, I've talked to actually a lot of organizations and people from around the nation in regards to this very issue, and they are not wrong to be concerned depending on what happens here. We feel very confidently that this is a stepping stone, that to your point, they are seeking out to see kind of throw something against the wall and see what sticks, because if they can make it happen here, it's going to take off. So what we've really been telling people is, pay attention, support us in whatever way you can, not just by endorsing, but if there's any financial contributions that can be offered, because we know that this is going to be an at least $1.65 million effort to combat as a full wage campaign. And we know we have to stay steadfast with our Sonoma County voters here because they get to make the decision. But we're very aware that we are just kind of the guinea pig right now. So it is really important that we all stand together on this and we fight this together. But again, we have to focus on our Sonoma County neighbors and make sure that they fully understand the implications of what this could do if it passes.
And that's what I wanted to ask about next was, ultimately this goes to the voters, much like Prop 12 did, much like 2 did. Ultimately, this goes to the voters. And there are a lot of non-ag voters, even in Sonoma County, which is, has strong agriculture in it. But what do you want them to understand about this?
Well, I mean, they need to understand that this is going to force family farms out of business and it's going to decrease our local food supply. And, this is an area where people are very excited for our local food shed, and that will change tremendously. It's going to increase food costs to be able to bring in some of these products that now are going to be fewer and farther from our reach. We're going to be bringing food in from outside the area. On top of that, it's going to cost the taxpayers millions of dollars. Within this ordinance, they have charged the county with enforcing this while also having to retrain any employees displaced from a farm on account of this poor legislation or policy making or ordinance, if you will. So there's a level of job loss. There's financial implications on the county, not just on the farms, but also the greater economic effect and the direct effect on the county's budget for sake of enforcement and employment oversight.
I've asked you, what do you want people around the nation to know? What do you want people in Sonoma County to know? If you were to speak one-on-one with one of these animal rights activists, somebody from this group, what would you want them to know? I know that's a tricky question.
Tricky question. At the end of the day, this is directly affecting people's livelihoods. And it seems as though they have no shame, and perhaps they should redirect their attention elsewhere. This also is a direct threat on a consumer's right to choose. And so what's unfortunate is that while they have their own ideals and beliefs and what they do and don't like, in their quest to get others to conform to their ways, if you will, they're creating a major threat on our food supply and especially our local source for food.
And is there anything else that you'd like for our listeners to know?
I just encourage everybody to, watch what happens here. We do have a website. It's rather lengthy, but it's called Sonoma County Family Farmers Alliance.com. We'll be making that far more robust as we move through the process. Would also, shamelessly like to ask for endorsements and financial contributions to help us make sure that we not only beat this, but we beat this handily. It's important that we send a message.
Thank you again to Dayna Ghirardelli. If you want to hear more conversations like this, make sure to hit that like and the subscribe button. For AgNet Weekly, I'm Sabrina Halverson.
Continue the conversation online by following Sabrina Halverson on Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. And get more agricultural news at southeastagnet.com and agnetwest.com. This has been the AgNet Weekly from AgNet Media. Thank you for tuning in.